It's 4 in the morning when the fishermen of Silone head out to sea to cast their nets and settle down for the long haul. Francisco Fortu only knows if his patience is paid off after sunrise. He used to catch up to 100 kilos a day, but in the past few years his catch has dwindled dramatically. After 3 hours, the fishermen return to their village and sell their catch at the local market. Today there are slim pickings.
It's not even enough to make a living. It only covers the cost of keeping the boat, paying for its fuel. It's nowhere near enough as a daily wage.
Once they're done with fishing for the day, the people of Silone start on the day's chores. Benicio Vergara is the head of the community, which numbers more than 1,000 people. Almost all of them live from fishing.
We all struggle when we see what small numbers the fishermen have caught. What they bring in each day affects the whole community. And it leaves its mark, because they all work so hard and do their best to support their families.
Silone is situated on the Verde Island Passage, a 100-kilometer-long strait in the northern Philippines. It's believed to be home to more documented species than any other marine habitat on Earth. And with more than 300 species of corals, it's also considered one of the largest concentrations of corals in the country, if not the whole world. But in recent years, climate change has resulted in rising temperatures and sea levels, as well as extreme weather. The population of the Verde Island Passage is also dealing with the consequences of man-made problems, such as overfishing. Enrique Nunez works for Conservation International, an environmental organization that researches the effects of climate change in the region. It also helps communities like Silone to cope with the repercussions.
We try to determine which among the provinces and even the municipalities and even the communities who are vulnerable to climate change. So as a result of that study, we determined that there are some areas here in the Verde Island Passage that are vulnerable, and Silone is one of the most vulnerable to storm surge, flooding, erosion, coastal erosion, and of course, storm surges.
In Silone, climate change is happening before locals' very eyes. Sandbags and other measures can do little to hold back the tide. 8 years ago, there were houses here. Now there's just water. Locals are determined to protect their homes. They've planted thousands of mangroves, which serve as a barricade against storm surges. The mangrove conservation area is also providing them with an income. They've started renting kayaks to visiting tourists. They're well aware that they can no longer rely on fishing for their livelihoods, so they're looking for alternatives. Local women have banded together and started producing crackers. All they need is pumpkins, salt, and flour. They come together 4 times a week to make these low-cost snacks, and then sell them to schools, for example. Their next goal, Silone is making preparations to become an eco-village. Everyone is taking part. Al-Mabul is among those fighting the threat of climate change with small but decisive steps.
It's very important for every member of the community to work together to achieve our goal, because if we don't, everything that we've started would be useless. And if we don't help ourselves, there's no chance for other people to help us either. So we really need to work hand in hand as a team.
The capital of the Philippines, Manila, is on the neighboring island. The understanding that climate change will affect the entire country has sunk in. The government has established a climate change commission tasked with coordinating, monitoring, and evaluating the programs and action plans of the government relating to climate change. Governor Alfonso Umali is a member of the commission.
There were a lot of interventions that this climate change commission did. So it was a planning, it was a consultative planning actually. They got all the stakeholders together and they discussed what to do with the situation.
The coastal town of Calatagan is about an hour's drive from Manila. It's a commercial fishing hub. Fishermen are waiting to see what sort of catch the day has brought. Studies show that fish stocks are likely to dwindle here too. For this reason, fishing has been cut back during the spawning season. After lengthy debate, authorities and fishermen have reached an agreement on seasonal closures.
We're a well-organized group of fishermen in Calatagan. We were already informed and told about the impact of overfishing. So we have a plan, and we're waiting to implement it.
But like the people of Silonay, the fishermen in Calatagan will have to start thinking up alternative sources of income. Calatagan probably won't stay this busy, but at least the fishing industry won't die out completely.